We go through this every year. You know perfectly well what holiday it is.
Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody. Whoopee.
Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. Today I'm going to do a quick video. It's probably going to be one of the lesser professional reviews I've done in a while, just because I'm feeling very rushed. I just got back from seeing Saw X, so I have very raw reaction right now, and I thought I would capture that on camera rather than waiting to get myself more set up. I do work strange hours, so it's nearing 6 p.m. on Saturday night, so I also am very tired, so I need to go to bed soon. But Saw X 2023, you guys know this movie takes place in between the first and second movies. That intrigued me. I don't necessarily always like that formula when movies do that, but boy, did this one really do that right. It was so good. The Saw franchise has kind of drifted from the original story, even parts two, kind of, in my opinion, part one of the Saw franchise. Like, The Room was the trap, and then when we get to the second movie, the traps are not even like they are today. Like, we think of traps now, we think of the flashback reverse bear trap mask that Amanda had on, and so just this movie kind of shows an evolution, a little peek into the evolution of Jigsaw and the contraptions. And I'm going to keep this spoiler free. I know that there's probably already a ton of reviews on YouTube and everywhere else that are doing spoilers. This one's spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about that. And the hard part about, so some of my memory is going to be fuzzy, because the process for me is, when I go see a movie like this, if there's not a lot of people, I'll just sit there with my phone and I'll type like text messages to myself. So one, that it feels like I have a friend, and then two, I have my notes. This theater was near full, and very active theater, so I couldn't really pull my phone out to be typing. So I had to do the thing where I keep note cards in my car for this type of situation. So like, I get back to the car after, and I just write down a ton of notes. So speaking of that, the theater being pretty full for a Saturday afternoon, the crowd was engaged in this movie. There was so many audible moments where people were like having shock value, because there's a lot of cringe, shocking moments in this movie that are really good. Where you can hear people going, ah, or they were clapping for this or that. It's really interesting to me that this Saw movie does the best job of any of them of really not making John Kramer, Jigsaw, out as like this vicious, revenge-filled murderer. You know, they kind of really make him a hero. So in my mind, I kind of associate him as being like the Punisher, or even Batman to some extent, and Amanda would be like Robin. They're like these anti-heroes, so to speak. So they're like Venom. So to put it into context for that, I thought that they did a really good job of building the story between Amanda and John Kramer, kind of building their bond, showing Amanda's kind of growth arc too, and it was neat to see a lot more of the hints into the behind the scenes parts of the story, where like in previous movies, things are all happening, and then at the end we kind of get like a flashback montage of who helped set what up. But in this movie, we get a little bit more of that earlier in the film. Although there is an end credit scene, which is the Hollywood norm now, is to throw in these end credit scenes. It's really good, and it also got a huge reaction from the people that did stay through till the end of the credits. Um, yeah, so I loved the build of the depth of John and Amanda. Um, Minor criticism, Shawnee Smith, I believe, is a great actress. She does a great job of conveying her emotions toward John in this movie. But I hate that short hair Amanda look. So I forgot, that this was wedged in. So she's got that look from the second movie with the short hair. But she in real life must have had like maybe some work done on her face. So she did look a little different, which, I mean, it's been how many years? So, I mean, that's a minor thing. Tobin Bell, because of his age, actually looked more sick to me with the cancer in this movie than he did in, like, Saw 3. But really creative traps. You kind of have to suspend logic and belief, on how he's able to put these traps together and have the facility to do that, like in a short time. But they kind of even go into detail into that, like into his mindset and how he's able to do that. I wrote down the one thing that really got a really cool audible reaction from the crowd is when the Billy puppet comes on camera, and it is one of the best Billy puppets because it's a full body. It's on a tricycle. It's the classic iconic look of Billy the puppet, and that's really fun. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is another thing I wrote down. Like there were so many moments where I saw this movie alone. I often go to the movies by myself. I don't have like a big circle of friends, and even smaller of them that like horror to the degree that I do. And this is one of those movies that it would have been nice to have somebody with me so that every time something happened, I could be like, oh, can you believe that? Or, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I wrote down that I had to pee so bad. That was something that I'm also plagued with. Typically in a movie, I get there early. I get like a huge popcorn and a huge drink. And of course, I try to eat and drink before the movie starts. So I'm like, and so I did have to go to the movie during one part at the very beginning. And then in that third act, when things are really amped up, like the action is really, the suspense and the tension is really high. I had to go to the bathroom. So I think that was adding to it a little bit. And just the emotion of watching the final traps scenario, and like we already know Jigsaw survives and Amanda, so like there's stuff that happens that you're in this movie. Like if this was a first movie for people in the Saw franchise, they might not know, part 2 or whatever. It was very, very suspenseful. They do a good job of introducing some new characters into this franchise. Whether or not we'll ever see them again or how they can be worked into future stories. This movie it's going to do great. So I got to think that the studios are going to try to figure out, okay, so we wedged a movie between 1 and 2. How do we do one between 2 and 3? And I don't know that they can really do one between 3 and 4, maybe, but those movies are actually, if you remember, like, they're tied together. They're like one long movie. It's like Saw 3 Part 1, Saw 3 Part 2 is Part 4. Because I think you really need to keep Tobin Bell in this, or we just reboot all the way and start fresh, which I think would kill a lot of us fans of the Saw franchise. Anyways, leave comments down below if you've seen this movie, what your thoughts are, what were your favorite parts. Try to keep it spoiler free in the comments, please. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to Now It's Dark for Halloween Shenanigans 2023.